네, 안녕하세요, 여러분. 이렇게 연휴 전날 바쁘신데 다들 오시느라 고생 많으셨고, 1시간 정도 작가님과 함께 이제 편하게 아티스트 토크를 진행을 해볼 예정입니다. 저는 이소영이라고 합니다. 반갑습니다.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dominic Chambers, and I would like to say thank you all for coming to the Artist Talk for the Body Shimmer exhibition. Before we get started, I would actually like to take the time to read you all a couple of poems from a collection of writings that respond quite well to this exhibition, as the work in this exhibition is the visual counterpart to an ongoing anthology series that I've been working on for the past couple of years. All right, so the titular poem, The Body Shimmer. Possessed by all bodies, imperceptible light, this dimming means more than you know. Though you can't see mine, nor I yours, it's evident that we are the same stars, raging towards shivering fervors, recreating each other. So why not get started, burning together, quietly? After all, neither of us can see the light shimmering from the other.
저희가 아티스트 토크를 하기 전에 사전에 여러 가지 고민을 하면서 도미닉 챔버스 작가님 자체가 그림을 그리는 화가이기도 하지만 글을 쓰는 문인이기도 하거든요. 그래서 이번 전시의 제목인 이 바디 쉬머에 대한 시가 또 있어서 이걸로 포문을 열자. 그래서 준비를 해봤고요. 워낙에 말씀을 재밌게 잘하셔가지고 이제 본격적으로 작가님과의 대화를 시작을 해보겠습니다. 전 사실 웬만하면 안 떠는데 제가 왜 떨리냐면 제가 도미닉 챔버스의 초창기 작품을 너무 좋아해서 혼자 계속 디깅을 하는 그런 팬이었는데 리만 머핀과 함께 일한다고 했을 때 제가 너무 기뻐서 언젠간 한국에서 전시를 볼 수 있겠다 했는데 이제 그게 이번 전시여서 컬렉터로서도 사실은 직접 만나 뵙게 된 게 상당히 영광인 순간입니다.
Likewise.
작가님이 한국에 이번에 처음 오셨대요. 한국에 처음 오셨고, 한국에서 첫 전시거든요. 그래서, 그, 최근 며칠간 서울을 이렇게 돌아다니시면서 친구도 만나고 하신 걸로 알고 있는데, 한국에서의 첫 전시 소감, 그리고 서울에 대한 첫 인상? 이런 것들 좀 얘기해 주시면 좋을 것 같습니다.
That's a great question. So first, I really love the landscape of Seoul. It's really beautiful. There are a lot of hills, and so I've been getting quite a bit of exercise as I roamed around the city, and so my legs hurt a little bit. But I also really respond quite well to the level of engagement that all of you have given me during my time here. It's been really beautiful, and I feel that it's been a really generous and engaged continuously from all of you, and that's something that I deeply appreciate because it seems that you all are as invested in my work and the ideas that I have had to share as it has taken me to form them and to develop them and bring them here to you.
네. 많은 분들이 도미닉에 대해서 미리 알고 오신 분들도 있고, 이제, 나는 좀 잘 모른다 하는 분도 있겠지만, 작가님이 처음 회화를 시작하게 된 계기, 그리고 지금의 작업들이 어떻게 이제 진행이 되었는지 그 시작 지점에 대한 질문을 좀 하고 싶습니다. 공부도 상당히 오래 하셨고, 책도 상당히 많이 읽으시고, 작업에 대해 정말 깊이 있게 고민을 하는 작가님이기 때문에 어떠한 그 회화 작업을 해야겠다라는 그 시작점 그런 것에 대한 이야기를 조금 얘기해 주시면 많은 분들에게 좀 도움이 될 것 같습니다.
That's a good question. And so I first want to say drawing and writing were my first loves before painting. As a child, I always had a proclivity for making things. Like it was always an impulse that I was quite attracted to. And my mother and many of the women in my family, I have 5 sisters, and our house was filled with books. And so I would oftentimes go through the books in our homes, and I would draw, and I would draw in the books because the books had a spare piece of white paper inside of it that I could tear out and draw on. And but when it came to painting, I fell in love with painting during my time at a community college in St. Louis called Flow Valley. And I fell in love with painting because I saw it as not only as a beautiful skill, the way to construct and build images, and a beautiful tradition, but also I saw it as a social contract. It became a bridge for me to connect with other artists and to shape ideas and to create images to produce a dialogue that kept me in a community that I became quite proud of and I wanted to contribute to. And so that's for the first part. And as for the visual identity of my work now, I'm 32, so I've been working at this for a minute. And I think what led to my work looking the way it is it's just maturity. You know, it took me a long time to really accept myself and to embrace my voice for what it was, for what it is. And that just took a lot of time for me to unravel and unpack a few things to, you know, corner confidence in the way I go about my work.
하지만 작가님의 초기작을 제가 준비를 해왔는데 초창기에 작가님이 이제 그 현대미술 씬에서 상당히 주목을 받았던 시리즈가 몇 가지 있는데요. 여기 오신 분들이 이제 최신작만 보시니까 이제 과거작을 보여드리려고 했는데 이제서야 성숙해졌다고 해서 저는 사실 작가님의 초기작에 상당히 좀 감탄을 했던 것이 예일대학교의 초대 교수이자 바우하우스의 마스터였던 조셉 알버스, 우리에게는 색채 연구자로도 많이 알려진 이 조셉 알버스의 작품을 그대로 끌어와서 사유하는 흑인들, 책을 읽거나 모여서 토론을 하거나 그런 시리즈들을 상당히 이렇게 많이 그리셨었어요. 그래서 이 초기 작업에 대해서 너무 훌륭하다라고 얘기를 하려고 하던 찰나에 이제서야 자신에 대해서 알게 됐고 이제서야 성숙해졌다 그런 얘기를 해주셔서 좀 당황했으나 작가님 작업에서 색이 정말 중요하거든요. 초기도 그렇고 지금도 그렇고 그리고 인물들을 보시면 이 작품 이제 이쪽에 있는 이 작품 상당히 좀 재미있는 작품인데 인물이 뚜렷한 것 같으면서도 약간 흐릿하게 이렇게 붕 떠 있는 그런 느낌들이 들어요. 그래서 이 이야기에 대해서 조금 해보면 좋을 것 같아요.
So to the first part about the maturity thing, it's more so about for me as a person, like interior on the inside. That it took a lot of growing for this to happen. Just become more comfortable in my own skin. But when it comes to color, and I think thinking about Joseph Albers is very important because for those of you who are familiar, Joseph Albers was a color theorist. You know, he made paintings that, you know, examine the relationship between colors. You know. And how colors interact and how they influence and change one another. And so when you think about color relativity and the interactions of color, for me, I found there to be a beautiful symmetry between the language of colors and their interactions and our bodies. And so for me, if you were to think about putting two colors next to each other, those colors might produce a third color that you can't get by mixing, but is entirely dependent on the relationality of the two prior ones. And so for me as a Black person, like I am African American, and in America, you know, my Blackness has a particular association to it. Whereas if I went to Africa, because they have a different racial logic and a different racial paradigm, their relationship to my Blackness also changes. And so in many ways, I thought about, you know, Black people as being like those colors. You know, you have your body and the context that your body exists within, and that influences how people participate with you. You know, and that was really important for me, and that's where the Joseph Albers comes from for me. And when it comes to the kind of material and the relationship to, like, you know, color as a protagonist is quite important to me because I'm deeply invested in the material nature of a color. So throughout this exhibition, you might notice that yellow is a color that pops up quite a bit throughout many of these paintings. And that is because for me, yellow is a ghost color. And I mean that in relationship to its pigment. So unlike red and blue, yellow is a very thin, transparent color. You know, it doesn't have a full body like red and blue might have. And I mean that for those people who paint, you guys might notice that. You have to build up yellow quite a bit. And so just thinking about the idea that, you know, a color can have a certain type of essence to it was quite important to me. And also thinking about, you know, colors that are highly centered in mineral. So colors that shine, you know, and colors that come from the earth are also important as well.
사전에 작가님하고 미팅을 했을 때 이 왼쪽 작품이 사실은 인물이 하나 있고 뭐 좀 멀리 있는 분들은 잘 안 보일 수도 있겠지만 약간 이렇게 흐릿한 유령 같은 존재들이 보이시는데 요것에 대해서 되게 재밌게 설명을 해주신 적이 있어서 요 작품을 가지고 숨김과 드러냄에 대해서 조금 자세히 설명해 주시면 좋을 것 같습니다. 여기 없지만 추가 질문.
Yeah, of course. So that particular painting, it was from an exhibition I did with Lehman Maupin, I believe in 2022. It was called the Soft Shadows exhibition. And the title of that painting is called Self-Summoning. And so you might notice that there's a figure on sitting on staircases, and there's these rainbow figures that occupy their space with them. And that painting was about the idea of summoning past versions of yourself in order to help out the current version of you. And this goes back to what I meant about maturity, the idea that many of the things that I do now, I did when I was in high school. I wrote stories, I made pictures. I thought I was going to be a graphic novelist. I thought that was what I was going to do. And oftentimes, when you grow up and you experience life, there's a lot of things that you throw away, right, in order to survive and to be strong or to do whatever you need to. And so I made that painting because I thought about the idea that there were things that the younger version of me got right, and perhaps I could have returned to. And so you might notice that the figures there are rainbows, they're silhouetted rainbows. And it's because in art history, a rainbow tells you that something magical is occurring. And so those silhouettes are younger versions of myself.
사실 이번 전시에 맞춰서 여기 앞에 책 한 권이 나왔는데 요 지금 메인 작품이랑 표지가 똑같고 바디 쉬머라고 해서 작가님의 산문과 시가 담겨 있어요. 근데 이제 약간 그 작가님이 이렇게 과거의 자신을 현재의 나에게 호출한다 이런 이야기로 자아상 얘기를 해주셔서 제가 너의 작품이 너무 샤먼 같다. 샤머니즘적인 성격이 너무 또 느껴진다. 이런 얘기를 했었는데 이제 이미지로 보여드리고 싶었고 또 한 가지는 중요한 질문이 사실은 최근 10년 사이에 그 흑인 작가님들이 상당히 미술계에서 많이 활동을 했고요. 또 우리가 모두가 아시겠지만 할렘 르네상스나 다양한 어떠한 흑인 인권운동 그 작가들이 그리는 그림에는 고통스러운 장면도 많이 묘사가 되거든요. 근데 작가님의 작품 속 인물들은 대부분 다 책을 읽고 있거나 다 모여서 이렇게 글을 쓰고 있거나 그런 어떤 이미지들이 많아요. 그래서 그런 것들이 혹시 미술사 속 어떠한 이미지의 균형을 다시 맞추는 작업인지 한번 여쭙고 싶었습니다.
Yeah, like a shaman. That was good. That's fun. So, yes, but yeah, you're absolutely correct. Historically, without the art historical canon, when you thought about the representation of Black bodies, it was oftentimes located in the history of trauma that was associated to the Black body, as a slave, as a status symbol, as being a secondary citizen. And so for me, and even during the times that I kind of emerged onto the scene as an artist, there was a ton of Black figurative painters at the time that were making work that, was intended to respond to a kind of counter narrative of the Black subject, as opposed to being something that was oppressed or harmful. It had a sense of autonomy and self-determination. And for me, with my work, I didn't necessarily want to participate with that per se. I wanted to think about, the Black body and Black history and leisure, because I think about the space of magic that happens within moments of rest and repose, and thinking about the fact that within the historical narrative of America, the Black subject and the Black body has always been a body that has been moving. It has been a labor force. It has been a means to generate capital. And when you think about allowing such a body to allow such a figure to engage in moments of rest and leisure, that does produce the opportunity to imagine and to revitalize and to rethink your place in society and the world around you. And I'm really interested in that space there. But also, if I'm being completely honest, I think it's important for many African American artists to resist, and I do mean this, resist the reading of your work through the lens of people outside of that community that is intended to simplify how people perceive or engage with your community. Because what that does is that it takes the critical concerns of those artists' work and it breaks it down into bite-sized ideas that fit within inside a very myopic and small imagination. And I want to make work that, that really breaks outside of that particular framework, that not only thinks about the Black body, but also thinks about larger ideas, that thinks about us, the body shimmer doesn't just belong to me, it belongs to everyone in this room.
그래서 이번 신작에도 보면 다양한 어린이들이 연을 날리고 있다거나 하늘로 이렇게 항해하고 있다거나 날아가고 있다거나 부유하고 있다거나 그런 이미지들이 약간 상당히 재미있었던 것 같고 이제 두 가지 질문이 있는데 이 두 개를 연결해서 한번 얘기를 해볼까 해요. 저희가 질문이 상당히 많았는데 줄인 건데 사실 저는 이 도미닉이라는 작가님을 알고는 있었지만 글을 이렇게 깊이 있게 많이 쓰는지는 사실 이번 전시 때 처음 알았어요. 그래서 어제 이 책을 읽으면서 저한테 이제 제가 독후감을 쓰겠다라고 했는데 인상 깊었던 게 독자들이요. 이런 단어를 많이 쓰시더라고요. 그래서 어쩌면 이 도미닉의 회화는 책처럼 읽어야 되는 회화인가 보다. 그러니까 감상자라는 표현을 안 쓰시고 독자들에게 얘기하고 싶다. 계속 그걸 언급을 하셔가지고 상당히 읽어야 되는 회화로서 매력이 있다라고 느꼈는데 사실 가장 궁금한 건 어떤 비율, 작업을 할 때 글도 쓰고 회화도 해야 된다면 스위치 전환을 해야 되거든요. 사실 이게 쉬운 일은 아닌 것 같은데 그런 어떠한 글쓰기와 그림을 병행하는 과정에서 어떤 식으로 전환을 하시는지 무게던가 혹은 뭐 루틴이라던가 혹은 비율 이런 것들 궁금합니다.
Yeah, well, I really appreciate that, Soyoung. That's really sweet. Thank you. So, again, this goes back to like my childhood. Like, I wanted to write stories. That was what it was. I would go to high school and I would stay up really late and I would write numerous stories and I would go to high school and I would share them with my friends. And again, like storytelling and image making, it was just a way for me to build community. Like, it was a way to like share sides of myself that I I didn't really have a ton of confidence as a kid. Like I didn't really feel like I fit in with a lot of people. Like it felt really strange, and so I had to find ways to kind of corner confidence in an area, meaning that like to have confidence that couldn't escape me. And I did that through writing and telling stories. And I noticed that that was a way that I built people around me. And it gave me infrastructure. And so when it comes down to like my practice now, as as a writer and as an artist. I mostly write at home. Like I love being at home. I don't really. I live a very mild mannered lifestyle. I hang out with my dog and I like watch a lot of movies and I write and I read a lot of books. But when it comes down to like shaping out an idea, it's because I think the idea is interesting enough that I want to share with all of you. And so the measure and the quality of my words and how I articulate them and my perspective on those ideas. Is really important because if I find them interesting and I think they're exciting, hopefully when I share them with all of you, you guys are also equally engaged and excited about this. And that becomes our contract, right? And then we can talk about it, And, that's another way of learning how to understand someone. And you build community over, commonality. And the commonality is the idea. And so, I will start there. But when it comes to like how I write, when I'm writing about the work, like for example, La Stella or The Wind Whisper or Trevor the Wishing, like I'm probably writing in my studio because, it's important to like really observe what's happening in your work. I think that's really important as opposed to writing about the work and it's not around you. You'd be astounded at how much the ego can get involved when you write that way, And so I try to be quite generous and quite honest with how it is that I perceive the work that I'm making. And I do that by, reading my work, by listening to it, and, paintings communicate with you. And oftentimes they tell you to back off, or sometimes they tell you, hey, like, this is actually what I want to be. And yeah, I try to have that balance, but mostly I write at home but I think a lot. So most of my ideas are also coming to me while I walk. And then I just jot them down in my phone.
제가 미팅을 했을 때, 제가 사전 질문을 만들었을 때는 이 책을 보지 못했을 때였어요. 근데 이제 사전 질문 미팅 다 끝나고 집에 가서 당장 내일이 토크인데 이 글을 읽다가 너무 마음에 와닿는 문장이 하나 있었어요. 인간은 자체적인 빛을 갖고 있고 그 빛을 발광한다라는 표현이었거든요. 사실 어쩌면 이번 전시에 있는 모든 작품들이 인물들이 다 그렇게 발광을 하고 있어요. 여기 없는 질문이지만. 그래서 오신 분들이 사전에 이제 작품을 분명히 많이 보셨을 텐데 인간은 자체적으로 많은 빛을 품고 있고 그 빛이 보이지 않지만 발광한다라는 그게 상당히 문학적이면서도 초현실주의적이기도 하고 그런 이야기를 좀 해주시면 오신 분들이 신작에 대해서 훨씬 이해를 잘 하실 수 있을 것 같아요. 아마도 바디쉬머라는 단어 자체보다 한글로 이렇게 번역이 됐을 때 발광한다라는 그 문장이 훨씬 저한테 와닿았던 것 같아요.
I'm really like, I do think in many ways about, the power of painting, right? As a painter to like make poetry visible, right? To like take something that astonishes you, a measure of it, and to give it form, And because for me, like poetry happens through like things that you experience. It's a sensory phenomenon. And then we utilize language or images to articulate that, to give it, some type of body. And so I can't exactly recall how I came across this fact. I think I was just trying to impress someone, or I was like having lunch. I was like, oh, this is cool. But yeah, I came across the idea that humans are capable of bioluminescence. And so we emit a very faint light. Well, we do emit a light that's 1,000 times too dim for our eyes to perceive it. But we do it, and we do it through, we produce this light through a metabolic process. We metabolize it. So when you eat or you drink, it expels from your body in a way. So I'm assuming there's probably quite a bit of faint light in this room, And then I thought about that. I thought that was really compelling that we produce a light that we cannot see. And even more so, that almost every element inside of the human body was forged in stars. So your entire composition is made up of stardust. It's a celestial, you in many ways possess a celestial body. You emit light, and you also are composed of celestial elements. But you're tethered to the earth, And so the stars in many ways could be perhaps our cousins, our celestial cousins. And so, and actually as I was talking about it, and this is why writing is really important. And this is the distinction between language for me and images. I noticed that when I would share this information with people, they would just, think it's a very nice fact. That would be about it. It does nothing else for them. But if I gave you an image, if I was to take that phenomenon, take that idea, and I painted it for you, then you can see it. Like that light that you can see, that you possess, is now visualized for you, And that was really important to me. I was like, how do I take this idea that I think is astonishing, and it can reframe how I think about communities, how I think about my countrymen, how I think about other people, And how do I give that, how do I share that with someone else and allow them to see how astonishing it is to be what it is that we are, So all these figures and these paintings, it's still us. It's just a version of us that we can't see. And I tried to give that a form. I'll end there.
여기 다 별이 이렇게 많은 거네요. 제가 이 질문을 했던 이유는 과거의 시리즈에 비해 최근 시리즈가 계속 그 어떤 페인터리함이 상당히 빛이 나게 표현을 하시잖아요. 그래서 사실은 글을 쓰고 그림을 그리는데 이건 제 스스로 되게 중요한 질문이라고 생각하는데 글이 못하는 걸 회화가 뭘 할 수 있을까? 저는 사실 여기 계신 모든 분들도 그 질문을 끝까지 가지고 살아간다고 생각하거든요. 이거는 그냥 글로 쓰면 되잖아. 말로 하면 되잖아. 영상으로 찍으면 되잖아. 넘어서 평면적인 회화가 갖는 힘이 뭔지를 작가님한테 많이 여쭤보고 싶었고, 또 저도 미대생이었지만 실패한 미대생이기 때문에 화가가 되기 실패한, 그래도 끝까지 회화가 던질 수 있는 힘이 뭘까를 이미 다 설명을 해주신 것 같아요. 우리는 각각의 소우주고 별 같은 사람들인데 그런 성분이 있는데 너는 빛이 난다가 말로는 잘 이해가 안 되는데 작가님의 신작을 보면 그게 너무 이해가 돼서 사전 미팅에는 없었던 것들을 와서 보고 제가 많이 느껴서 했던 질문이어서 9번 질문까지 와버렸죠. 약간 이게 지금 이 얘기인 것 같아요. 지금 이 전시. 그래서 원래 마술적 리얼리즘이 문학에서 먼저 등장을 했었어요. 그러다가 이제 이 마술적 리얼리즘이 문학계로 펼쳐진 건데 작가님이 이제 이 매직 리얼리즘에 대해서 회화에서도 영감을 많이 얻으시고 문학과 회화 사이를 이렇게 연결하시기 때문에 이 매직 리얼리즘에 대해서는 조금 회화에서 어떻게 작동하는지 추가적으로 얘기를 해주시면 신작 감상하실 때 매우 도움이 되실 것 같습니다.
Yeah, and so she's absolutely correct. So magic realism is a literary term. It's one of the godfathers of magic realism is a writer that I adore named Gabriel Garcia Marquez. He wrote 100 Years of Solitude, Love in the Time of Cholera, books like that. But what I thought about for magic realism is that it allows you to understand that like the everyday life that you live is sprinkled with something that's a little whimsical. There's all these types of whimsical textures that outline your life. And so when it comes down to me as a painter, like thinking about the language of painting as a means to articulate something that is, quite familiar to you, but it's also astonishing. And I do that through the manipulation of a color. So if we were actually, I think this would be a great way to think about it. So if we were to think about a painting like La Stella's Grove, this yellow one here, and then the Wind Whispers, which is the silver painting next to it, the materiality of a color for me when it came to La Stella was how do you think about utilizing paint to refer to a night sky or to a starscape, and to think about if you can live within the color yellow. And this seems like a really silly idea, but this is how my brain works. If you could live inside of the color yellow, what would nighttime look like? Like how would you describe that? If you lived in a yellow world, that's a color. And so I try to describe that. So everything that has a star, all the drops that you see in the painting are all just variations of the same color. Whereas the Wind Whisper, and this is where magical realism kicks into it, it's the stars that you see and the light that that painting produces, right? Like it produces a shimmer body. That painting literally shines just like you do. And so it's not just you're going to a painting and you're experiencing an image. You're experiencing an image that produces an effect akin to your own, and that's when I think about the power of painting and thinking about the fact that painting can call out to us as well. There's a reason we're so attracted to it.
너무 재밌어요, 지금.
Yeah.
네. 제가 생각한 것보다 훨씬 자세히 신작들에 대해서 얘기해 주셔서 오신 분들이 오길 잘했다라는 생각이 들 것 같아요. 이렇게 한참 최신작을 얘기하고 있다가 그래도 작가님이 항상 내년 전시, 내후년 전시 혹은 지금 되게 탐구하고 있는 주제 이런 것들도 또 궁금하거든요. 그걸 또 우리가 들어야 작가님의 미래를 또 상상해 볼 수 있고 그래서 앞으로의 계획이나 뭐 요즘 관심을 많이 갖고 있는 주제 이런 것들에 대해서 얘기해 주시면 좋을 것 같습니다.
I'm gonna refer to, I want to be present, but so this exhibition is the visual counterpart to a collection of writings I've been working on over the past couple of years, right? And so I will probably withhold on saying or sharing a bit about like what the next visual identity of my work will be or the next body of work. But I can share that I am currently working on the 5th chapter. This exhibition functions as the 4th chapter in the book that I'm working on, which is called The Color of Heaven. Hopefully it'll be a lifelong anthology series. It might have 40 or 50 chapters, if I'm lucky to write that much over my life. But the 5th chapter is called The Ghost You Gave to Me. And this particular idea, if you were to look at the painting behind, so there are 2 paintings in this exhibition that are called The Body Shimmer Bright Thoughts 2 and 3. And I was thinking about the power of painting to be a space of resurrection. So if you could enter a painting, what type of things live there? And if the process of painting allows you to conjure things, right, from the past or conjure things from the imagination, conjure things that you didn't have a chance to realize. And even in the writing here, I talk about, the function of the memory, like those thoughts, like I'm someone who thinks through paintings, and some of the thoughts in the paintings represented as these floating, colorful squares or memories I've had, or a memory of a painting that I encountered. And for me, a memory is another way to think about a ghost. Like a memory is the closest ghost that you love. It is the closest ghost that you have. And so taking this idea and thinking about these apparition paintings and these spectral thoughts, I just started thinking about the ghosts that I inherited from my mother and from past lovers and friends. And I'm really just focused on that right now. And it's not to say that I'm completely over the body shimmer, but I'm a writer, like that's still a big part of who I am. And so I'm writing about, the ghosts that I've inherited,
좀 전에 그 작가님이 작업에 이렇게 위에 이렇게 사각형 형태가 떠 있는 이야기는 좀 입구에 있는 작품이고 초기에 있어서 이따가 또 뒤를 도시면 보실 수 있습니다. 아까 전에 작가님 작업실 이렇게 보셨잖아요. 그럼 큰 페인팅도 있지만 이렇게 작은 페인팅들이 있잖아요. 그래서 지금 저 화면에 보시면 이렇게 마치 증강현실처럼 이렇게 딱 알아들었나? 난 한국말로 했는데 어떻게 알았지? 증강현실처럼 저렇게 떠 있는 게 본인의 어떠한 기억을 불러오는 그런 어떠한 구조로 작동을 하고 있어요. 회화 안에서. 그래서 좀 자세히 보시면 재밌을 것 같고, 이제는 저희가 이제 5분 정도 늦게 시작해가지고 저희에게 주어진 시간은 다 썼고요. 관객들이 질문 있으면 편하게 또 처음 한국에 오셨고 한국에서 첫 전시니까 해주시면 좋을 것 같습니다. 없으면 제가 하나 하고 싶은데요. 저기 입구에 있는 작품 중에 구상이 그려져 있는 게 없다가 왼쪽에 작은 노란색 패널에 그림이 하나 그려져 있거든요. 제가 듣기로는 선배 작가의 작품을 캐리 제임스 마샬? 그걸 그린 거라고 하셔서 그거에 대한 얘기? 왜 저렇게 선택을 했는지 그런 거를 알려주시면 좀 많은 분들이 재밌게 볼 수 있지 않을까.
Yeah, so in Bright Thoughts number 3, there's a yellow square on the left-hand side of the composition, which is of a referential image of a painting by Kerry James Marshall called Our Town. And so currently, that particular painting, if you guys have seen it or familiar with it, is entirely about what type of people, who belongs in what community, you know? Like that's what that painting is about, you know, our town. And it has these two black children running down the street in what looks to be a suburban community. And for those who understand, who have ever been in America right now, the current political and social landscape in America, a lot of people are being removed from communities. You know, the question is, whose town is it? So if you notice within the Yellow Thought painting of Kerry James Marshall, there is no our in it. It's just simply the town. And it's because in my home, you know, in my country, the town, that's something we're negotiating. Is the town ours? Is it mine? Is it yours? Is it our? Who does it belong to and who has the right to be there? And there are people, you know, constantly being removed and taken from their homes and taken from the community. And that was what I was thinking about. And so again, it's a bright thought, you know, and so that's where that painting occupies that particular space in that image. And yeah, and it's just something I thought was quite prescient given, you know, my current circumstances.
네. 저희가 정말 꽉 차게 지금 토크를 했는데요. 마지막으로 질문이 이제 더 이상 없으니 도미닉이 오신 분들에게 한 말씀 하면서 마무리를 해보면 어떨까 합니다.
Thanks for coming to the Body Shimmer. I hope you guys enjoy this exhibition. It has been a deep and thorough pleasure of mine to speak and engage with all of you. So thank you for your time.
네. 저희가 조금 늦어지긴 했는데 마지막까지 좋은 시간이었을 거라 생각을 하고요. 저는 이 전시가 여러분들에게 분명히 좋은 질문을 던진다고 생각을 합니다. 저는 오면서 나에게는 어떤 빛이 있었지? 그 빛을 내가 잃었나? 그런 고민을 하면서 이 전시를 봤거든요. 그래서 다시 한번 전시를 둘러보시면서 작가님의 대화를 떠올려 보시면서 깊이 있게 감상하는 시간이 되면 좋겠습니다. 마무리하겠습니다.